Hi guys, so today we are going to show you how to actually add in an irrigation for one of your rice paddocks. This will be particularly relevant for anybody that's actually drill sown their crops, because we're trying to capture basically when you did your flushes and then when you're going to permanent water. Obviously anybody that's sort of aerial sown or dry broadcast, if you filled up, we obviously know that when you sowed that the paddock was already inundated with water. We will be running a video later on in the season, just if you have actually recorded that water that you've used in your paddocks, just how to capture the actual amount. But for this in particular, we're actually just trying to understand what our flush dates were and when you went to permanent water, so that we've got sort of a correlation on what that paddock particularly and what that crop particularly did against, you know, other people that might have had really similar dates to you. So it's always about trying to give that information back to you guys so we can have more of an understanding about why things happened across the season. So as you can see, I've obviously got Rappel up on my screen, and you'll see that those two paddocks here in green are obviously the two paddocks that I've actually planted. This paddock up here was drill sown, so what we're going to do is actually capture the first and second flush that this paddock has had. So you will see on the left hand side obviously the normal control panel. If we scroll down, you can see reporting and analysis and the irrigation button. So if we click irrigation, it's going to bring you to this next screen, irrigation summaries. And it has obviously said that for the time being, there's no irrigation records against either of these paddocks. I'm just going to scroll across here to this paddock you can see. So that one's Ward 17, and we're going to click on it from the list. And so once you've clicked on it from the list, it's going to bring up the irrigation history just for this particular paddock. And obviously we haven't entered any of the data in yet. So I'm just going to click that add button. And we're just going to try and capture that first flush. So you'll see that it's obviously the rice has been planted. Application method, obviously furrow irrigation, even though, you know, it's not furrowed, but it's flood. So we'll choose that one. Then the date, so this one had its first flush on the 20th of October, and the irrigation stage is flush. And we're just going to save that one. So you will see here now that on the 20th of the 10th, we did our first flush. The rice is obviously, the plant had just been planted. What we are trying to understand as well from this sort of perspective, when we are putting in our flush dates, we want to be able to capture the actual midway point of that flush. So say this paddock took 3 days to get, you know, water from the first bay to the bottom bay. We're basically needing, you know, the date that it hit the middle bay. So if it was, you know, if I started flushing on the 19th of October and finished on the 21st, then I'd be putting the 20th as my date. Same thing again, obviously it being, you know, we're in November now, so we will have done a second flush. So it will be a matter of clicking that add button again. The growth stage, it's obviously, it might be, you know, 2 to 4 leaf, or it might still be pre-emergent if you've just done your 3-way mix, but we'll go 2 to 4 leaf. And say we'll choose, you know, we could probably do the 1st of November for the second flush. Application method, again, flood. Irrigation stage, it's still a flush. And then we can click save. You will have noticed as well that with irrigation stage, there was an option for permanent. So when you do go to permanent water, it is really important that you're actually specifying that you've done that. So, you know, if I was planning on going to permanent water, say on the 20th of November of this month, I'd come in here and actually specify that I went to permanent water on that date. But if we go back, you will see now that it'll show the last recording. So it will say that we flushed on the 1st of November, and that is that's how you add in an irrigation summary. So if we go back, then you will go back to the home page. That you can see that irrigation is there. If you have any difficulty with this process at all, please feel free to give myself or Alistair Clark a ring. Otherwise, the Grower Services number, which can also be found actually at the top of this screen, you can also ring, and one of the girls will help you out as well. But that is how you do that. Thanks very much, guys. We will be doing a couple more of these throughout the season, and stay posted for when we actually do Zoom so that you can ask as many interactive questions as you like. All right, thank you.